Okay, so I studied this, I got to talk, it was all on my phone, and my phone is at home. So I fully believe things were meant to be, even if we don't get them right. So I hope I remember the important parts, and the rabbi's here and can correct me. Thank you. The celebration of Purim for me comes from a wonderful relationship I had with a girl down the street from me in Muskegon, Michigan. And she and one other family were the only Jewish families around. And they had a girl my age, and so did the other Jewish family. So kids, we didn't talk about religion, but we knew it was there. And one day I was invited to a party at their temple for Purim. And I couldn't believe it when I got in there. It was a huge place, and there were like 2-3 kids squashed into each regular chair. And they were noisy and unbelievable. They were dressed up. And I thought, what in the world? This place is out of control. This is not like church I know. So we went on through it. I just sat there to experience it. And then I spoke to my friend, why are they allowed to be noisy? Because they're telling the story of Esther. And every time the name Haman, is that right? Haman. Every time the word Haman, this well-known man, was mentioned, we are supposed to drown out his name so no one ever hears it again. Oh, okay. They gave me some noisemakers to take home, and all was well. But I still wondered about that, and so I have another close Jewish friend here in Ann Arbor, and she told me a little bit more. Many of you probably know that Esther is a book of the Bible, and essentially it's a story that is around her and her life. The main characters are Esther and her uncle Mordecai and the king. So the king and Haman, bad guys. Yes. So this is how we know they were bad, because they were self-centered and they asked that people worship them. Okay, worship them. One day, Haman, he came upon Mordecai on a local street, and knowing he was a Jew and thinking all Jews were despicable, he ordered that right then and there, Mordecai bow down to him. Mordecai said, not today. I have the Lord my God, and that's the only force that we bow to. Well, Mordecai figured he was in trouble, but the court case was taken up and going to happen in the future. The next thing that happened that was despicable was that the king asked his wife to go in public with only a crown on. Now, no one told us this as children, but that's what he expected because he was the king. He could call all the shots, right? Well, they kind of look at that wife as early feminist. So, do you know her name? Vashti. Let's have a yay for Vashti. Okay, so the next thing happens, the king banishes Vashti. So now he needs a wife. And he decides he's going to get the most beautiful girl in the town. So he has all the beautiful girls line up and have a beauty show. And Mordecai asks Esther to be in that show because she is very beautiful. And she dressed herself up, she went to that beauty pageant, and she won that thing. So now she's living with the king in his palace. And all this thing about Jews that they have to bow down to Haman every time, that's still in her craw, you know? And so she talks with Mordecai about it, and he says, you need to speak to the king, because if somebody does bow to Haman, it'll increase and increase, and then all the Jews will be subservient. This cannot go any farther, Esther. She said, okay, I will think about it. But she couldn't speak to him because it was illegal, punishable by death or torture, to come to the king, to approach him without being summoned first. So Esther knew she couldn't really do that, but she asked the servants to make up a big dinner, and she invited the king and Haman. And of course, she sat there in the special spots, and they had a lovely time. And I think she had actually 3 banquets before she actually could come out and say what she needed to. And so she let the king know that Haman was insisting that people bow down to him. And the king thought about that, and he declared all Jewish people were just fine to live with. Thank you.